Good evening, everybody. Welcome back here to Speed Gaming Prime for yet another Link to the Past Randomizer League matchup, once again between the Bomb Squad, represented by fcoughlin, and Komodo Hypers, represented by Kyong. I'm Spyweaver, and I'll be joined shortly here in the booth by Adalor. I hope we're all ready for this one. It is week 2 of the league. Open 7 of 7 defeat Ganon, just about as normal as Rando can get. I hope everybody's ready because this week has proven to be some good matchups all across the board. What do you think, Adalor? Are we in here for a good one tonight?
I mean, we're looking at Fred Coughlin versus Kyong. If that isn't the definition of a good match by those names alone, I don't know what is.
That is a very good point. If you were just with us, you saw the first matchup between these two teams. The Bomb Squad versus Komodo Hypers. Firame with Komodo Hypers took the win in that one. We'll see if fcoughlin can get some revenge in the second matchup here for the Bomb Squad.
That match will be underway in just a few seconds. We're literally just waiting on to catch up with the delay here. Should be going any second now. Hopefully Fred gets his file made so he doesn't have a bit of a... he's working on it. All right, we're good.
But apparently he is Groot today.
Understood, Fred. Understood.
And a quick look over the league standings. Komodo Hypers sitting pretty right now with 9 points, 3-0. The Bomb Squad, unfortunately, down there 0-3 with 0 points. Coughlin, as I said, looking to get the Bomb Squad on the board right here, right now. And it looks like we are off.
Bomb Squad had a really tough opening in the co-op week, running into Andy's team. The what's their team called? I forget. But both of those co-op matches proved to be really tough for them. So they bit of a tough start. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pug Trio. Any matchup you could argue in this Invitational League is going to be a tough matchup for anybody. There is good teams up and down the board without question.
Early map check on Kyong's side. It looks like we saw a pendant eastern and a red crystal on desert. It looks like Kyong's gonna give us a tier 1. What do we got here? 20 rupee tier 1. Nice.
Things I will not say no to.
The bushcraft and maybe give us a look at lumberjack. 10 arrows not as exciting. We are indeed going to get a lumberjack check from Kyong's going to go ahead and get this information. Just 10 arrows, nothing exciting there. Might not need to kill Aghanim today.
At least for that item. We have yet to see what else the seed holds for us. Both of our runners doing I guess I could say a standard opening coming from Sank, going down through the Lost Woods into Kakariko. Coughlin will be the first of the runners in CAC, having not checked Lumberjack Ledge yet. Not a bad move by any stretch of imagination. Most runners actually do like putting that off until they do find the boots, since you can't open up that tree until you have boots in hand. And it looks like Kyong's actually S&Qing here.
Layup in the house chest. All right. Yeah, he got the woods drop down and save and quit. I guess he's going to go for a different route because he didn't find any bombs initially. Whereas if you're looking on Fred Coughlin's side, he found 6 bombs in Blind Hut. So we are good for Kakariko as far as bombs are concerned.
Kyong making the way down to the 50-50 bushes, and in the bombable wall in Blind Hut, Coughlin finding the first sword of our match here.
That worked out great, honestly. I mean, you walk into Kakariko without bombs, it's a bit of a gamble. You're hoping you find bombs in one of those first 4 that you check, whether you decide to do Whale or Blind Hut first, and we got a pretty good score there.
And speaking of Well, Coughlin making the way down into their Piece of Heart in the first chest. Young giving us a look at the race game, not much there. There's another Piece of Heart on Fred's side. Moving to the next 3 main checks for 10 sticks. 3 more bombs, speaking of bombs, and a full heart container.
Yeah, I bet Kyong would like to have those bombs on the race game, but he could spend his one bomb to get them, but I think he's gonna be like, I'll be okay. It's probably not worth his time. Bottle Vendor gives us a 95% scam today.
It's a replaced Zora. Get all the joy of the Zora scam without having to make your way up there for the folks of Kakariko Village.
For just 20% of the investment cost. It's a Zora Light.
All the thrills and spills without the trip.
And Kyong, of course, will opt to go ahead and purchase bombs in the shop because only coming up with one. He's just, you know what? We'll just go ahead and fill up. You got the money. You got a decent amount of early money here, so that's not a terrible expense to make. So Kakariko not coming up with a whole lot here. We got a sword, and on Fred's side, we're already up to 6 hearts, so like that's great. But really nothing in the way of progression. So no doubt we're going to be looking pretty thoroughly through other checks like South Shore and whatnot, and looking to find our good starting item set there.
Yeah, usually coming out of Kakariko, you kind of like to have a little bit of a sense of where the seed wants to point you. Maybe a glove, maybe, a fire source. We do know that lamp is going to be right here in Link's house. Maybe a bow to kind of point you if you want to go south, north, or east. That time, not too much coming out, but with that sword and lamp in hand, looks like Fred is opting for the escape play here.
Yes, it's definitely kind of a good pointer towards the castle. Assuming that the key is accessible in the front 4 chests, including Dark Cross, you can go all the way to the back and not need a glove to fully clear castle. And with the lamp, it's entirely logical.
Fred letting us know what he thinks about his uncle there today, getting 10 sticks and leaving him a bomb as a present in return.
And just 20 more rupees in the inner chest for him. Kyong's got his sword. Fred will most likely get a tree pole of some variety out here, and we'll see him head into the castle. No, skipping the tree pole. All right, fair enough. I don't even know if he knows that there's a 80 rupee tree pole. I think he'd be going for that.
And looks like Kyong is going to be making the same play here up into the front of Escape. Like you were saying, with that sword and that lamp in hand, definitely not a bad play at this point. Always seems like there's something of some sort sitting in Escape that'll point you one way or the other. Yeah,
the early lamp is just like, you could go to Dark Cross. Like, it's a decent pointer. Interesting that we're seeing him do it. Oh, there's a Master Sword. That's a good payout. Interesting that we're seeing him do it both before South Shore, which has its own decent bit of item density, but I'm sure they'll be out of here and down there soon enough.
So you do know what that Master Sword already gives us access to here 6 minutes in, don't you?
I mean, 2 swords and a lamp, that's all you need to climb.
I mean, you're the one that said we don't have to do it this seed, but
You know what? I did say that, and of course I only meant lumberjack, but I'll go all the way. I'll stick with it. We're not even gonna worry about egging him because we're gonna get Dark World access. We're not gonna have to worry about it.
The big question is going to be, will either of our runners be really crazy here and go for it right away with South Shore still wide open and not checked?
If I was in this situation and it wasn't like a league race, if there weren't points on the line, I might, if this was like a casual race with friends or something, I might go crazy and do it just really early just to see if it pays off. But even then, it's like, I think I'd at least knock out the South Shore, because there are still 8 items in that whole area. If you go all the way to Ice Rod, that's still a lot of density.
And Fred still hadn't done his first map check there. Does it right now and is actually making the way right over to Eastern.
Yep.
Alice, never mind.
He's wobbly. He's thinking about it. Yeah, confirms we've got a blue pendant on Eastern, a red crystal at Desert, and a blue crystal up at Hera. All right, he's going for Eastern. All right,
giving us the juke there a few times on the screen. Although it didn't make the Dark Cross play, Kyong keeping the Green Guard alive, looking might be going for that Death Warp for that Dark Cross play himself.
Yeah, he's going for it. Yeah. Fred decided he wasn't going to do Dark Cross there. He gets a bottle and a big 300 and some more bombs from Sassel. All right, decent closet. And I'd imagine we're going to see Kyong. Yes, he's going to take that lamp and go straight into Dark Cross. Did Fred leave a bomb on Sassel?
Yes, he did. It's like, slow down there, buddy. You might be a little early. You got a bottle, so that means you got access to Sick Kid. That still could be something, so...
Yeah, like, you can't be that upset about that 300 rupees in a bottle. I mean, come on. Cut the guy some slack.
I mean, you just took his pension. No need to, blow him up in the meantime.
And now he can't even go out and get like a drink of water and bring it home. He's gotta find some other way to just go hydrate himself.
Dark Cross, piece of heart, no key. The back of Escape is locked up.
So Fred got lucky, and that turns out to be a good skip. We will have to wait until we've got a glove to see those 3 items back there, which, given that we don't have the key, it'll be 2 items, but I actually don't know if we saw the map either, so it could be just 1. It might be just nothing back there.
First check in Eastern for Fred, 20 rupees. Kyong making his way down to the dam. Let's see if he decides to go west or east after the dam here.
Lomaga, thank you, as our tracker who is paying better attention than I am, has pointed out there is only 1 item in the back. So map and key in the back of Escape. That'll be definitely a low priority check later.
I mean, trackers are our trackers for a reason. Huge early shout outs here to Lumaga doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes, keeping track of all the items our runners have, keeping us online.
Oh, Kyong is going for desert. Interesting. All right. You said left or right, and I was thinking, man, I don't know. I think desert's a bit of an interesting play this early when you've got nothing that gets you into it, but he's going for it.
It might have something to do with not quite being close enough to Zora money yet. So going over here to the good old Desert Hermit's Cave, and ooh, meanwhile on Coughlin's side, we just got a flute there in Eastern.
That's going to put us right up on the mountain as soon as he decides to head out and go activate that. And just a shield in the Guinness Cave. Not worth it.
To continue the thought that I got interrupted with the flute by, I have noticed that quite a few people do like making their way over towards the desert area if they're lacking the rupees just to get that check out of the way. And gives you 1 more spot or check there to find that 300 rupees. Unfortunately, though, this seed our other old man hermits holding on to the big 300 cash today.
Last chest Eastern gives us a map. So it looks like we've got 1 item on the Armos Knights, which we, of course, cannot access yet. We're still lacking a bow. We'll be back for them later. Kyong's going to give us a look at our mini Moldorm Cave. 5 items coming up. There's some money for him. Oh, there's a blue bottle. Nice. And, ooh, a hook shot. Very nice find. All right. So that is that makes the mountain better. I mean, it depends. It'd be interesting to see whether Fred goes for that first or goes straight at the mountain. But I think he's. I would estimate he'd probably wait until he's got more mountain access for heading up there.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll see Fred take the flute over to 8 right away, get Mini Moldorm out of the way, get Ice Rod Cave out of the way, and then decide from there. In case, as you saw right there, we either run into that hammer or a hook shot to make that mountain a little more worthwhile.
Just thinking about it, he thought about it for a second. He was like, "Mountain? No, go to 7. You'll be happy you did it this way."
Definitely. pack of 3 bombs in Ice Rod Cave for Kyong. Looks like he'll be heading back south towards the 8 flute spot. I'd imagine this will be a fake flipper at this point to maybe get some water checks out of the way here.
Yeah, we don't have Zora money, and of course he can't do Waterfall Cave without Moon Pearl, but we still can at least get some information. We can go to Hobo and knock that out if we so desire here. The early flute we found was in the big chest in Eastern Palace.
The island right there, Lake Hylia Island, just a piece of heart today. That'll be the last time we see that on Kyong's side. And as he said, we're going up to Hobo, and I'd imagine fake flipping our way back down up into the Zora area to at least take a peek at that ledge, perhaps.
Hobo's only got a quarter heart for us today, nothing too special. Oh, and Fred did a interesting. He looked like he had a console reset there, an emulator reset. That was odd.
Thankfully, it looks like it saved his progress there. I did see the hook shot, so
yeah, we're all good there
for a second.
Yeah, I was worried if he lost anything there. I mean, it wouldn't have been a huge time loss, but still.
In a race, none of it feels good.
Yeah, especially one of these top talent invitational races. You want to save. You don't want to give up any time you possibly can to your opponent here. But yeah, he's good to go. He's on the mountain as we thought. He's going to take that hook shot and flute up here and get a whole bunch of item checks. Paradox is going to be a big treasure trove and very likely to give us progression, because what else is there right now?
We still have Sick Kid, which is just also a flute away for Coughlin right now. Kyong about to grab that flute once he does head into Eastern Palace. But of course, that is 1 check versus the now plethora you have up in the mountain here with that hook shot. So Fred going for the density here early on, and definitely not a bad play at all.
Now, of course, if Paradox doesn't give us any real pieces of Dark World access here, I think we are indeed going to look at this. Oh, there's a pearl.
Ooh.
All right, so that's one of them. That right there is just about enough to make me change my mind. We may very well be looking at Agaseed, but we've got 8 checks to get after that. It still could turn around. We'll see.
We now have Aga access. We now have the Moon Pearl to mess around in the Dark World after said Aga fight. Ooh.
Is he going right for it? No, it's just saving going to mountain. Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
A little bit different from the typical bomb jump across to walk out and jump down, but I guess if you miss the bomb jump, this way is faster.
Yeah, or if you're like me and you're like, I'm not that confident in that bomb jump. So, yeah, it's a good safety second place on time consumption.
Definitely. Alright, Fred Coughlin heading down in here into the bottom of Paradox Cave. Paradox 2 as Kyong picks up the flute. We have a book. $20.
That opens Desert Palace. It's a coin flip as to whether we can actually logically clear it, but that's Desert Open. It could be something to chase.
We can open the door, but that's all we're sure to be able to do. 20 more bucks, a blue cane, things I will not say no to. And a piece of heart, and finally, bacon, also things I will not say no to.
Tempered sword already at under 20 minutes. No, not complaining at all. Not one bit. I mean, it's looking like an Agaseed, but ooh, he was like 1 pixel off there. He's going to try it again.
And if it does end up being an Agaseed here for that Dark World access, that Tempered Sword will be a nice addition as you're climbing up that tower. fcoughlin does have Ice Rod Cave left, could also chase that book. However, without Flippers or a glove, Zora technically is not within logic yet at all.
Nope, not yet. Ooh, that was a rod on the island. I didn't see what color, but that's definitely a rod.
I would bank on that being an ice rod.
Meanwhile, Kyong has fetched his flute and second bottle from the eastern area. He's going to come over here and activate that. I don't know if Fred Coughlin checked Lazy Kid. I think he did, but I missed it entirely. I don't see why he wouldn't like in the area, at least.
Okay, Piece of Heart. So now if you're in Fred's shoes, you have Ice Rod Cave, you have Sick Kid, and then you have Desert. 3 specific areas, potentially only 3 items. You do need 2 still for that Dark World access. Sick Kid just giving us Piece of Heart, however.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty unlikely that we're going to come up with what we need to avoid Aga, because we are 2 pieces of progression away from proper Dark World access. But it looks like Fred's going to go ahead and chase it. He's going to head into Desert.
Yep, and noticing that blue boomerang on the desert ledge as well knocks off yet another one of those potential items that we could be looking for. Keep in mind, like I said, we still do need 2 items. If we do get a glove, that would give us access to logical access to Zora. If we get a bow, that gives us Eastern Palace.
Well, there's the small
still one sitting on Armos Knights too in Eastern, so there's still options.
Yeah.
Depends what the seed wants to do here.
It's certainly thin, but possible. I'm not giving it good odds. We've got the small key in Desert, so there's still a chance here. This might not be boots locked. You got 1 chance at a vanilla big key to keep us going. Nope, that's a heart piece. So we have come up with no items at a Desert, and it's looking like we're going to be looking at an Aga climb soon.
I believe logically that is everything that we need to have a look at. I think we've seen everything that's in logic, so I do believe that means it is Aga 1.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else here. I think that's about all we've got.
So we've seen Ice Rod Cave on Kyong's side. Kyong also did give us a look at the Sick Kid. And Coughlin gave us a look at that book into Desert. I believe, like I said, logically, that's all we had remaining. So once again, I think do we blame this curse on you?
I mean, I'm the one who said it wasn't going to be. So, I mean, sure, I'll take the blame. I mean, who else are we going to blame here? I mean, who rolled this? We could blame them. No, I think the roll is completely automated. So I don't think we have anyone to blame there.
I just kind of peeped the room, and it looks like Kyong actually did roll it. So
actually, you're right. So never mind. Let's blame Kyong for the lovely Agaseed he's given us today. Kyong, who is in Paradox Cave, he's going to be getting his sword and Burna and nothing else. Gonna start thinking about, man, I think I got to go climb Aga Tower soon, because he's done pretty much everything else. Yeah, these guys will be in Aga Tower at relatively similar times here, I think.
Now, with this Moon Pearl in hand, however, Fred can give us a look at Waterfall Fairy, and will more than likely be purchasing the Zora item up there as well. So within those 3 items, if we do end up with those 2, it'd be interesting here.
That would be, you're right. We are going to see that pretty soon here. And wouldn't that be a treat if we had enough up here to actually not have to climb Aga Tower? That would be really something special.
I mean, I wouldn't stake my life on it by any means. 2 items needed 3 checks, but And okay, there we go. 2 out of the way. There's 1 left.
What's on the ledge? Red rupee? Nope.
We're purchasing the Zora item, then we'll see which of our runners will be pulling that trigger first, or if the ability to water walk here now will be on Kyong's mind. Kyong's actually going to go over to desert with that book as well.
Yep, he's going to go for it too. And Zora's got a big old scam for us today as well. Imagine that.
Zora looking to be Rando Vanilla?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there are 28 big 20s in the pool. What do you expect? It's the most likely thing for him to have.
Yeah, if somebody asks you, what do you think's going to be here? And you say big 20, I mean, you're more than likely going to be right.
Yeah, you're playing the odds at that point, but it's the safest bet you can make. All right, so Fred's pulling. Oh, Fred's going to go to Dark Cross first. All right, fair enough.
I suppose he still doesn't know if that key's back here or not. It could still be sitting there for him, which would give him access to 3 more checks in the back. We know it isn't, but it doesn't really hurt to check that before you make your way up Aga Tower in case, by some chance, you know, the two of the items you're looking for are hiding back here.
I was going to say, I wonder if Kyong's going to give us a look at the torch item before he leaves, but no, he's just going to save and quit and go straight to house, and he's going to go for castle. No, where's he floating to? What's he got left? Oh, he's going to do the fake flipper now. All right, fair enough. These guys are trying really hard to put off this Aghanim climb. And, like, I get it, but, like, come on, man, read the seed. It's pointing at it really hard. You don't got that much left.
Yeah, you're basically out of logic now at this point. You still need 2 items, like I've said, and there's 3 checks that you can get to. I mean, can't blame him, though, for trying to put it off as long as he can.
Also, to point out, Chad is doing me a favor in pointing out that, yes, the torch is the big key. I'm just going to pretend that I am paying attention, and I'll just forget I said that. So Kyong's going to get his bad news. He's going to be disappointed and be like, man, I got to climb Aga Tower. What is this? What have I done to myself? Meanwhile, Fred's already halfway up by the time he gets there.
And with that 20 from Zora, Kyong's gonna get the direction there. Unfortunately, not finding what he could potentially be looking for, say a flipper, a hammer, or a glove, something to kind of direct you after Aga 1, outside of just going into pod. But nope, this seed is being very stingent for us today. It wants you to go right up to the tower and essentially look at the ledge and head towards pod.
Yeah, so it turns out that
sitting on the ledge.
It turns out that crazy play to maybe go up Aga Tower super early may have actually paid off. It's starting to feel very similar to one I had just yesterday. It turns out that there was a glove in pod and a glove on catfish. That was interesting. And personally, I'm hoping we see it again because that was I had a real good laugh at that seed. I wasn't happy about it, but I laughed at it.
One of those that from a spectator standpoint is fun and amazing and what you want to see, but as you know, you're running it, you're just like, come on, really? Do I have to?
So Fred is up at the top, and Kyong is just getting to the second floor, well, third floor, but the second floor as far as actual progress. And then the tower, he'll be a couple minutes behind Fred, who will be the first of the Dark World, and first to give us a look at Pyramid, and then head on to Palace of Darkness, because pretty much our only option at this point. I'm going to say we're going to have, let's go with 4 blue balls.
And if you're joining us wondering what those numbers in chat are, it's a kind of unofficial game We like playing around here. Guess how many blue balls Ega 1 will get us today? 0 through 15. We're already away from the 15. That is no longer a possibility. And there's 1.
I like Kiki Maha's guess of H.
So far playing nice. Let's hope me saying that doesn't jinx it as we get
Ah,
our
look
second
what you
blue
did.
ball.
You
And
just had to
third.
say something.
Well,
You broke it.
I did something. There's 5. Hey, and it is 5.
Credit goes to GFE for being looks like the first to guess 5, and the actual first guess period. Well done.
The unofficial imaginary lack of internet points and $300 sitting on Pyramid Ledge. So, do you want to do a pod?
Yeah, Frez decided he's already spent enough money and probably won't need it. That's fair. You've got about 350 in the pocket. You don't need that much more to buy the rest of the stuff. You can skip that. That's fine.
I was going to say not bothering with the map check, but there we get it. It looks like pod is a pendant. That's even more rude of the seed. Green pendant in Meyer. And then red. Yep. And then the last red crystal in Skullwoods. Just to add a little bit of, salt to the wound. You go to pod, that's all we're going to give you. And here's a pendant for you, too. Not even green at that.
Of course, that early flute is part of our Meyer access. So wouldn't that be even better if we get a couple of gloves and a Sumerian? Think, man, maybe it's time to do early pendant Meyer. Wouldn't that be great?
It's Coughlin heading into pod. Kyong just finishing out his Ega 1 fight. The real question here will be, if you find one item in one of your first couple of checks here, do you disappear and follow that item if it gives you access to other stuff?
There's the glove in pod. What did I say? Oh, he's going for it.
And Coughlin saying, nope, we're out of here. That's what we wanted.
All right. So it'll be interesting if I really hope Kyong sticks with pod. I want to see him get more of this dungeon because while it's bow locked, they do have a blue potion. He might not want to spend that blue potion to unlock pod, but it is an option they have.
Yep, and Coughlin actually coming back over to the back of Escape. Keep in mind, Desert Palace is boots locked. That big key on the torch. We have one item back here in the back of Escape today. That will be just $300.
Swing and a miss.
I mean, that glove is our logical access to our $20 from Zora, but unfortunately, that's about it. So, looks like we're going to be heading back right into the Dark World here.
So he does have another option once getting back in here. He could go up to Catfish, and I wonder if he's better either Catfish or go right back to Pod. We'll have to see what he does here.
He can go up into Catfish and head over to Village of Outcasts with that.
Oh, he does West Dark World. You're correct.
Looks like we're, at least for the moment, going up north. Kyong making the same decision, grabbing that glove and SNQing out. Coughlin not going to even bother with the second of the two grumpy fish, and he's just going to head off into the western side here towards Village of Outcasts.
I mean, If there's another glove on catfish, I can only say I told you so, but we'll have to wait and see.
What a thing would it be if that would be the fire rod on catfish, making it so you could complete Skull Woods?
I mean, early catfish, man, like sometimes you just got to go for it.
And that one, if that does end up happening, you can blame on me. fcoughlin did also skip bumper ledge, gets flippers in that first check there.
It's a decent start in Skull Woods. That puts. It really doesn't give them any more checks they can do immediately because they've done all the fake flipper stuff already. But if there was anything there, it would have put it in logic. Unfortunately, we didn't really find anything out of there.
Yeah, it just fixes a little bit of broken logic at this point. Yeah. That's about it. Also,
we'll
makes
need
it
those
easier
later.
To get back to pod when you go back down the south route towards that way if you don't.
Yeah. Kyong, go to catfish. Go to catfish. Yeah, he's going to catfish. Good boy.
Ooh. This could get spicy here now.
I'm telling you, if there's a glove over here, I'm gonna go out and go find my nearest costume shop. I'm getting the biggest witch hat I can find.
I might do the same, or actually I might go buy some lottery tickets if this ends up being fire rod. Front of his I just about said escape. Front of Skull Woods, not coming up with anything else there for fcoughlin.
I don't think he went to the middle chest.
Boulder. He did not. Catfish today. Just green goo.
All right, well, it was a dream. Three bottles, though. I mean. It'd be interesting now with that green potion if he goes back to pod and unlocks with that, because it's a much less of a potion expense to use. Oh, there's our second glove in C-shaped. All right, well, I'm going to say that Fred is decidedly in the lead.
Come on, that's a good item, man. Come on.
All right, and it looks like Kyong is not going to go back into pod. He's going to play the reasonable way, go to West Dark World, and he'll be not too far behind.
Yeah, pod being that pendant, having access to the Western Dark World, and then Thieves Town as well being a crystal. And you kind of want to get yourself over this way and then at the very least knock off a crystal here around the 40-minute mark.
And Iron Rick in chat is pointing out that they are indeed the bomb squad for a reason. He was also a member of that team, so yes, that is correct. There's our last bottle on Bumper Ledge. I throw a quick shout out to the 22 raiders from the ALTTPR League 2. We've got ourselves a great race going between fcoughlin and Kyong, 36 minutes deep. It turns out to be an Agaseed, not much progression in Light World. And we are just digging into Dark World and finding some good stuff.
Flippers to fix our logic break, the mitts then to give us access, and oh, speaking of good items, we can go fast now.
We got boots. What are those?
Das Boot.
All right, now we can go fast. Now it's a proper speed run.
Exactly. Link is now officially running fast. Zoom, zoom. Oh my.
Thieves Town. So where Skull Woods gave us nothing, Thieves Town's paying out big. Oh, and the village in general. But yeah, now we're talking progression.
So Light World version of Kakariko area had absolutely nothing but our first sword. Dark World, meanwhile, Kakariko Village made a trip over there this evening. That was a glove over there in Village of Outcast, some boots, as well as the hammer, and a nicely timed fairy there as well for fcoughlin.
Yeah, very nice fairy drop. You're like, I'm not going to complain about that. And 7 hearts, but still green mail in Thieves Town. So everything's still doing a decent amount of damage, especially these bugs in the attic. Don't touch them. They hurt a lot.
Nasty little grasshoppers like putting a little bit of a hitch into everybody's step. At least with the boots, you can just kind of dash and hope they don't hit the right exact pixel to bonk you off instead of hitting your sword.
Yeah, with boots and tempered sword, you can at least just run through them a one shot. Not much of a problem. Or, I mean, you got quick swap to hook shot. That takes him out too.
Yep, that is another new thing here for this tournament. We are allowing the use of quick swap outside of your normal modes that it is allowed in. Any and all modes, every week you will see quick swap for these runners. Just another thing for them to essentially work on and save a couple minutes here and there.
Yeah, if you get really practice with the quest swap, you can save yourself a lot of menu time. And look in your credits at the end and be like, man, I didn't have any menu time hardly. Just think about all that time you saved. Yep, quick swap's becoming very popular amongst pretty much all the competitive modes. There are not that many venues to this point that aren't using it, and I am all for it. I like it a lot.
Another skill to add to the repertoire.
There's Thieves' Big Chest kicks out just a compass for us. It's going to tell us we got one more item on blind to finish out this dungeon here.
All right, fcoughlin walking into his blind fight. 3 phases of 3 hits per phase, regardless of the weapon you use. You can have butter sword, you could have hammer, you could have fighter, or even sword beams. Regardless what you use, it's 3 hits per phase, and if you do it just right, you can keep this on what they call a script. The fight is the same exactly every single time you do it.
That looked pretty good to me.
And that was a perfectly executed blind fight, perfectly on script, all 3 phases. Only rewarded with a single rupee bill for it, however. At 40 minutes on in, fcoughlin takes down our first crystal in Thieves Town.
So, Kyong has dodged Thieves Town entirely and is going straight for Dig Game. I'd imagine he'll probably continue and go all the way down to Hype Cave. He's unfortunately missing some good stuff.
Interesting decision. I mean, it does give you access into more things. Maybe doesn't feel quite comfortable with the amount of stuff he has in the repertoire for blind. Unfortunately, this Thieves Town is hiding our boots and hammer up front.
I wonder if he feels like he's behind already and is just trying to make like a weird play to skip Thieves Town for later. Meanwhile, Fred has given us the. I think Fred's that's one of his signatures of the Dig Game. He will give us the hi. Everybody say hi to Fred.
Yep, hi Fred.
That's a large number of digs for a heart piece. I think it was easily 20 plus. I wasn't counting exactly, but not worth the time.
And I would argue an appropriate bomb there on the Dig Game keeper. And over there on Kyong's side, we found half magic.
A very nice item to have. So these guys are pretty much going to be mostly synced up going down the south route through Stumpy to Hype Cave.
Fred will be catching up here with those boots. Half magic, one of those that doesn't quite give you a progression, but it's also something you will not say no to. It is a very, very nice quality of life item, and I mean, come on, Fred.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point, is that now with half magic, if Kyong was in any way concerned about his ability to fight blind, half magic Burna makes that fight free. So he should, if that's all he's concerned about, he should be headed right back for Thieves Town. Hype Cave, that looks like a big fat 0 to me.
So if I'm not mistaken, did this seed just kind of loop us back around and say, no, go back to pod? Of course, outside of finishing out the Smith chain here, but...
I mean, we found a glove and a hammer that does give us dark mountain access.
And I suppose with those boots in hand, Fred can make his way over to King's Tomb.
I mean, you could argue that we could go into pod, but it would be out of logic because we still lack a bow to actually get in there without burning a potion to unlock and get to the right side.
Yeah, that is fair. We do have those boots now, though, so we could go back and complete Desert.
Yep, the big keys on the torch. Hair is accessible. We have hookshot and hammer, no mirror. We can get on top of the mountain and walk across to Hera. And then with 2 gloves again, we do have access to check out Dark Mountain. We can get the bonk chest and hookshot cave. Well, Kyong can't get the bonk chest, but we can at least see Super Bunny if he decides to take that route. He's going for it. This is a very interesting route Kyong has decided to take today.
And following those gloves right up Dark Death Mountain, we'll see Super Bunny here. We will see what our Turtle Rock medallion is, I would imagine. We'll also get out of the way. Hookshot Cave, unfortunately, does not have that hammer, so we'll not be able to get to Spike Cave.
Also, no, chat, you're right. There's a hookshot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I forgot the hookshot when it's right in front of my face. I'm sorry. We'll pretend it. That's another thing we're gonna pretend I didn't say, and we'll move on.
First couple of those Dark Death Mountain checks coming up with a whole lot of love there for Kyong. 2 more hearts to add to the repertoire as Fred grabs that big key off of the torch in Desert Palace.
And we do have one more item to find. Let's see if it's in the big chest here. Ooh. Fred continuing to make the right calls here. Very nice find with the mirror in Desert Big.
That is now, if I'm not mistaken, Swamp Palace access.
Meanwhile, Kyong had the 4th sword in Hookshot Cave. All right, sure.
I suppose. That might nice be something, yeah, might be something Fred might not get depending on, you know, the loadout what we get up there. If all Fred needs is that ice rod that is sitting on Floating Island, I don't think we'll be seeing a trip into Hookshot Cave. Quake, though, for TR this evening.
We've seen no medallions just yet, but at least we know what our crystal requirement is. I was about to say, I wonder if Kyong will head into Mire and give us a look at that. Sure enough, here he goes.
So do we need 1 medallion or 2 today?
Hopefully we don't need this one. Mire being just a green penny. That's a bombos for us. So we do have 2 different medallions for our requirements.
Okay, so one of those rare seeds where you're like, okay, don't give me bombos. But of course, the moment you see that, if you see it before that fire rod, that is Ice Palace.
Kyong comes up with nothing important in Mire's shed and is going to save and quit and flute to, looks like going to 3, Pride Village. And fcoughlin going to take down the landmost with ease and get us our 2nd crystal.
There he is indeed at 46 minutes and 22 seconds in. fcoughlin takes down Lenmo for crystal number 2, taking a 2-0 crystal lead in this seed.
He's also going to take a peek at the Mire area. I like it. I think as soon as you've got the flute and 2 gloves, you can just go check out Mire Shed, especially if you got the mirror. Like, then you can go to checkerboard as well. It's a solid number of checks. You get that information on Mire. It's a nice quick trip to get you a lot.
Yeah, peep that. Get it out of the way. That way you know what the medallion requirement is, so you know what medallion you don't want to see this seed, and hope that from Fred's side, you don't see that same medallion sitting on TR. We know it isn't, but Fred hasn't been quite up there yet. He can as well take out, like you said, checkerboard, as Kyong finally going into the front of Thieves Town, and there are the boots.
You wonder if he's thinking, man, I wonder if I should have just gone here first, because I bet Fred did it before me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of got to be going through your mind, and I definitely bet it will be right here, grabbing the boots and then the hammer out of the front of Thieves down here that you gotta be feeling behind at this point now if you're Kyong.
I'd imagine so. But at least he came in here. You wonder if also maybe he's holding off just to hope that he gets the hammer so he can full clear the dungeon. When, of course, Thieves Town is doing the thing where it unlocks its own full clear. Just as it does.
Yeah, is it just me, or does it seem like a lot of the dungeons recently have been holding the item that you either need to finish said dungeon or completely clear the dungeon? You know, like the hammer here in Thieves Town, the Cane of Soma in Misery Mire. I mean, it's just been rude as of late, I feel.
The bows and pod, the ice rods and TR. Yeah, no, I've been seeing a lot of it lately. It's requiring people to, all us runners, just kind of make those plays, those calls to go into a dungeon when you can't full clear it. Meanwhile, Fred is going to go ahead into Swamp Palace. We have all the requirements. We've got a hammer and a hook shot and flippers and a mirror. In we go. This is an easy full clear dungeon.
Yep, and with enough bombs in hand and the good old-fashioned diver down I can imagine we'll be seeing, we might even get a full clear of the left side, depending on the items we find here in the first two checks up front.
Yes, we're still really kind of missing like a bow. Well, do we need it? Well, we need a bow eventually, right? We don't need one necessarily to get our Eastern and Pod, because those are both pendants. So by all rights, this could be like a very late bow in the logic.
Logically, yes, we do need it. It just comes down to whether or not either of these runners potentially know Mimic Clip, and that might depend on whether or not they're looking for it.
Yeah, these top tier runners, I'll admit, I don't know whether either of them is practice with the Mimic Clip, but it would not surprise me if either of them just went ahead and pulled it off. So we'll have to see in about an hour or so, depending on how quick we get through this, whether that's an option.
I would imagine Kyong does. I haven't watched Fred enough, unfortunately, to know whether or not he does.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Oh, there's our first armor upgrade in the compass chest and swamp.
Yep, so 2 items right off the bat, I would imagine, and it does in fact look like it. Fred is heading right to the back, so haven't gotten any dungeon items right away. No diver down, interesting.
Yeah, I guess not. He's got 10 bombs, you can do it.
Good old 2 slashes to slow yourself down enough for that blimp to get out of electrocution phase, and then just take a dasher right up towards the top of the screen. And that's the quickest way to make your way past that one when it's flashing as soon as you enter it. Heading down to the flooded chests now here on Fred's side. Gonna grab these 2 hearts. That is compass dungeon item number 1 and the big key item number 2.
Double dungeon item. Looks like he's gonna run back up for the big chest, I think.
Yeah, that's what it looks like here. You've only gotten 2 items out of the dungeon. You know, you got your big key and another dungeon item right away. One way or another, that was good chance it was going to be item, and of course it was. That is another one out of the way.
Interesting. So he's decided, since I'm already out here, may as well just go ahead and clear left side. I'm like, all right. I mean, this seems all right. I think we're looking at 2 items on the left side at this point.
That is indeed what looks like Fred is doing here. And while we are sitting over there watching Fred in Swamp, Kyong took down Blind very masterfully, in fact, getting crystal number 1, narrowing the gap 1-0. And also out of the purple chest, finding our ether medallion that unfortunately we don't need.
Yeah, we know that's not required for either of our dungeons, so at best we might see that used in some weird niche combat scenario, but probably not.
Maybe Mire 2 if for some reason we have to go in there and you don't have sword beams and for whatever reason don't have anything else planned out, just throw down an ether. Yeah, we'll see. Kyong grabbing his big key off the torch here in Desert. We'll be heading over to that big chest very momentarily. We'll be pulling out that mirror. It might just add to the behind feeling that Kyong might have at this point, unfortunately.
Meanwhile, Fred's dropping into left side swamp. Gonna give us a moment to see whether it's worth it. I'm gonna call that worth it. I don't know that he wants to see a bow right now because that does open up Pod and Eastern for full exploration, but that is a bow that we will logically need later.
And I'm banking on Fred's actually pretty happy seeing that bow. Doesn't even have to worry about whether or not we need to do Mimic Clip going up GT. Now we got that bow in hand. It's just going to be a simple, good old NMG bow usage on the way up now. But better yet, that was in fact 2 items on the left-hand side, which means in one of these next 2 checks, be it on the boss or in the waterfall chest, will be another dungeon item.
Yep, so at this point, we're looking at... as far as EP Pod goes, they've only got 1 left because they've gotten 2 items out of Eastern, and then the first chest in Pod kicked out a glove, so there are 4 items left in Pod. So there are still definitely some items there, but not as much as if you were going into those without having dipped them at all.
And that looks to be the last item out of Swamp Palace. So now after this, we have a decision to make which way we want to go with the hammer and bow in hand. Also need to keep in mind, as you had pointed out earlier, Tower of Hera is also fully accessible.
We can go up the mountain for Hera. We can't get into ice yet because we are lacking Fire Rod or Bombos. That's not even an option yet. Same with the back of Skull Woods. We're still missing that Fire Rod. Which if that is the Fire Rod that's on the island, then I think Mountain seems like a natural play here.
I believe it was the Ice Rod sitting up there. However, if you look over on the right-hand side of your screen at 54 minutes and 30 seconds on in, Kyong has taken down Lan Molis for crystal number 2, momentarily evening it up because right away on the left side, 55 minutes and 4 seconds on in, Fred once again pulls back out ahead, taking the crystal advantage, taking down Swamp Palace. We're now 3 crystals to 2.
Yep, he's got that objective lead, 3-2, and yeah, depending on these next decisions, let's see if he can hold it.
And here we go, Kyong making a beeline for that mountain right away, going up and hoping that something is going to be up here. Ether Tablet today is just $20. Should be going right on into Hera. Meanwhile, Fred is giving us a look at the Bombos.
And a big 20 up top. We'll see what the other tablet is. Almost completely synchronized, checking opposite tablets. And just some more money, so... All right.
Arguably better value on the Bombos tablet, though.
Oh, yeah, by far.
All right, compass down bottom, small key and the annex there. Young's going to be giving us a look here at Hera Pot. I believe that was an accident right there. No, deciding not to. Doesn't want to leave an item potentially behind, it looks like.
Yeah, I guess he's just going to be thorough. Yeah, I mean, in his case, like, I don't blame him. His inventory, the inventory in general is pretty thin still at this point. You're still looking for both rods. You need a bow, logically. You need a Quake medallion and a Samaria, probably. Yeah, you definitely need Samaria. There's a... Being thorough here seems like a... he's... All right, what's he doing? I don't know what he's doing. Never mind.
Psych. Let's just change our mind here. Must have thought it was taking too long. Probably going to make the play. Hope that there isn't an item in that big chest. I was about to say possibly hoping that there would be an item there, going for that play, assuming that Fred would skip the big chest and the big key doing Hera Pot. We're going to get a little bit of beta action going on there. And, oh, unfortunately, that's the map. That does mean we are going to be leaving an item in that big chest.
Meanwhile, Fred is doing a little bit of cleanup here, gets bonk rocks, finds nothing there. Is he gonna do a blind check lumberjack? He is. Look at him go. he's not going to find anything good here, but props to him for just going for it, I guess. Saving quits right for like, nope, can't make him pick it up.
Doesn't even want to grab it.
And Moldorm kicks us out a 50 rupee. So we're going to look at that basement Hera and hopefully see progression there.
Big question will be whether or not Kyong makes his way back down there. At 57 minutes and 52 seconds on in, Kyong takes down Moldorm. Crystal number 3, even us back up 3 crystals to 3 crystals.
Oh, he's skipping it. Wow. This seems really bold at this point, honestly. Like, leaving any check behind right now seems just... Oof, it seems really risky.
It comes down to 2 mindsets here at this point, I believe. You know you're behind, so which mindset do you take? Do you take the one of, okay, let's hope my opponent isn't doing this, so I'm going to go here and do something I don't think he's going to do and hope that's the item to bring me back into it? Or do I play a little bit more off the cuff, skip some things, in hopes that I skip the right things in at this point and find something for my opponent does to potentially make myself feel better and bring myself back into it?
He only gets a heart piece out of Spike Cave for his trouble. And on fcoughlin side, Fred's into Hera himself. And we'll have to see if he maybe takes out that basement item for us. Looks like, nope, he's going to set up Hera plot as well. And welcome to the Raiders from SpeedGaming 2. We are just about an hour deep into our match of fcoughlin versus Kyong.
Both runners sitting on 3 crystals at this point. Where the seed fcoughlin made his way into the front of Thieves Town right as soon as we had access to it. Kyong kind of stayed away from a little bit, had late access to the hammer and boots. That's kind of where we sit at this point thus far. Kyong giving us a look at Graveyard Ledge. Nothing there. Now jumping down into King's Tomb as Fred makes his way over into his Moldorm fight.
Yep, Fred's had a pretty objective progression lead for most of the seed. He just made his way to the correct checks first before Kyong's gotten there. So Kyong's been pretty much up playing behind. He might not feel like he's too far behind, but it's hard to say what's going through his mind there. We may have to ask him later and say, how did you feel at certain points of this run?
Definitely. Well, Kyong's doing some boots checks over there on the right side. Belwer on the left at 1 hour and about 10 seconds on in. Fred taking down Moldorm. That is crystal number 4. Giving him the 4-3 advantage.
He has also opted to skip the Hera coffee break. I mean, it's a long check. Okay, so that is the ice rod. We got a good look at it there, so we know for sure. Not the fire rod on the island. Not the one we're looking for to open up more stuff to do. But yeah, they've both skipped the Hera coffee break. So if that's something crucial, it may be an interesting kind of race decider, no matter who goes back for it first.
Fred getting his first look at the TR medallion. Fred now knows that is in fact Quake. Now probably sitting there in the back of his mind thinking, okay, I do not want to see that Bombos medallion at all, this entire seed.
Nope, we don't want to have to go into Pennant Mire. I think it's green. Yeah, green Pennant Mire, no less. No, we don't want it. So Fred's going to get his double heart out of Super Bunny, and he's about to get his last sword out of Hookshot Cave.
Yep, and with that mirror in hand, I will imagine be grabbing that ice rod as well. Big question is, will Fred make the decision to come back into the Dark World here and check Spike Cave, or will he be leaving that one behind as well?
Yeah, Fred's pretty much on the driver's seat at this point. He's the one who's going to be giving us information first. Kyong is already he's going to Swamp Palace, which yeah, definitely like a natural play to make at this point in the game. But we've already seen everything in here from Fred's side.
Yep, interesting thing to keep in mind here will be whether or not Kyong decides to make his way over to the right, not the right, the left side of Swamp to grab that bow, which of course does logically open up the rest of Pod, as well as the one item in Eastern Palace that's sitting on Armos Knights, and does in fact look like Fred is going back for Spike Cave.
Yeah, I think with even though they've already kind of taken some of the items out of the area, it's starting to look more and more like I think the big decision may be to actually head back with that bow to do Pod and Eastern. So assuming Kyong does check left side, which I think he should, so he's skipped enough as is, I think, and you're still missing several items. Yeah, it could just be a race to see who goes first. Kyong's going to go ahead and do the usual route, doing the diver strats to do left side first. And indeed, Fred's going to go ahead and head back into the Palace of Darkness area. And there are 4 items left in here. We've already scored a glove out of the first chest. The shooter room chest had our first glove in it after defeating Aghanim. That was our progression. And then both of these guys bailed out immediately after finding that glove. And immediately went to back of escape, found nothing there. And we'll have to see what comes up next here, probably in Pod. We got 4 items left. Let's see.
You know, the big interesting fact here now at this point, like I said, with those 4 items back, is especially being in Fred's situation here, if you pull something out of Pod, are you feeling behind, assuming Kyong might have, PCU'd, potion glitched his way over to this side?
Yeah, that is an interesting thought. So if you find something in here, you got to think, like, again, these are invitational runners. They both know all the techniques. Like, it's very possible that you think, man, did my opponent potion glitch and get to this early? And that very well could drive your decisions. I won't pretend to understand or assume what's going through these guys' heads at this point. We'll just have to take their decisions as they make them.
That is true. It also, I would also say too, it depends on what specific item you find in here. If it's the fire rod, maybe you don't feel as far behind as if maybe it was something like, Soma. Yeah, I guess it just kind of depends what we find at this point.
Ooh, there's our Quake medallion. We need that to get into Turtle Rock. Good find.
Well, that'll open the door. That's about so far all we'll be able to do in there at this point. We must continue on.
Yeah, that is no reason to bail out just yet. No.
Not at all. We're still looking for our Soma as well as Fire Rod.
All right, so we're getting to the back of Pod here. I think typically the back of Pod is where all the items are. Out of those front 6 chests, you've got at least 4 keys guaranteed to be up there. So it's usually a party in the back. There's our big key in the rupee basement. And 2 small keys in the back. So that's going to put an item in Hellway potentially. Or a dungeon item. I mean, it's an item, quote unquote. I didn't say it was going to be good.
It's an item. You weren't wrong there. No.
It wasn't a key. That's what's important. Despite having the mirror, Fred's going to go ahead and do a hammer jump here. Interesting choice.
Give us a hammer jump. Pull out the whatever item sitting in here, as well as the other 2 chests to save that key. We'll make his way to the back if so needed.
Oh, interesting. How there's a bow in pod. Huh. Who'd have thought?
Okay, stop me when this begins to sound familiar. Bow locked bow in pod.
Like we've never seen that one before. And the fire rod. Wow, pod sure was the play now, wasn't it?
That it was. I guess the seed wanted to be mean and say, well, go do an egg of one. I'm not going to give you anything until you do. And I'm going to point you to pod and just stay there, glitch your way around it, please. Just go grab.
Yeah, so that gives us access both to the back of Skullwoods as well as complete access to Ice Palace. We now have 2 crystals available to us. I am entirely unsurprised Fred decided to fly out and immediately go for Skullwoods.
Yep, I can imagine this will be knocking out Skullwoods here. From there, probably see him go right on over to Ice Palace thereafter. Meanwhile, Kyong has finished his Swamp Palace. We are now 4 crystals to 4 crystals. And Kyong looping back for some of those mirror checks that he did not get earlier. So we know where our Quake Medallion is. We have that Fire Rod in hand. All our runners are looking for now at this point would be the Cane of Samaria.
Yep, and we know for sure that it cannot be on the pedestal because that would mean that Misery Mire would have to be not a crystal. So I think at this point, Ped is pretty much dead. As long as Fred's keeping up, I wouldn't even see a check from after he's done with Skullwoods here. All right, so Gold Sword Moth. This is be a pretty quick fight. Blink and you'll miss it.
Working a few fire rod shots to try to balance him off of the spike because, you know, Moth like sitting on spikes, but no problem for Fred as 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 8 seconds in, grabbing crystal number 5.
Maintaining that objective lead over Kyong. They've been pretty much 1 to 2 crystals apart this whole seed. It's fluctuated a little bit. They've been tied up a couple times, but Fred's usually not long to get his lead back. So he's going to go back in and check the bridge chest. We still have 1 item remaining in Skullwoods. Long time ago, we found the flippers in one of the front 4 checks, so we are still looking for 1 more.
Yep, 2 spots left here in Skullwoods, this being one, the other being the big chest, and looks like we'll have to make our trip back to the big chest.
Silver arrows coming in handy for the Gibdo room. The Gibdos, of course, are immune to normal arrows, but the silvers take them down.
And Kyong has picked up that Quake Medallion out of pod. We'll be continuing on. Have their 2 keys. Should be getting the fire rod and silver arrows very shortly after grabbing a big key out of the back here.
Just going to go ahead and take the vanilla path and go ahead and bomb to the back and pull the lever. Big 20. Nope. Nothing left in Skullwoods. All right.
Skullwood's just kind of looking at you like, I gave you the flippers. What more do you want?
I gave you access to Ice Palace. Come on, man. And Swamp Valley.
I had the flippers. I mean, you just go south a little bit. You got the gloves. I mean, just come on. What more do you want, man?
There's a nice pond right outside. Just go swim around.
Oh, Kyong making his way through the dark maze, grabbed himself that fire rod, grabbed the map, making it over to the big chest while getting the silver arrows very shortly. And we'll see what the next move will be. Will Kyong head right to ice or go finish out Skull Woods?
So I think we have one item left in pod because we got the Quake Medallion and the Fire Rod and the... Yeah, I think there's one left on the boss itself.
I'm counting 4. The Quake, the silver arrows, the fire rod, the glove. Unless there was something else we missed. There is one down here. This is an interesting play. This could actually be what Kyong needs to pull himself back into this match if it does end up being Samaria or something that does lead to Samaria.
Yeah, this would be a really significant find if he actually gets Samaria in the back of pod here, because we did see Fred bail out after getting his prizes from the Dark Maze. Yeah, this could definitely be a race if it happens to be here. Because it will be a long time, I think, before Fred Coughlin would get back to actually get this. Item number 1 in Ice Palace is one of our 2 green rupees.
2 more items left to go here in Ice Palace. The big question on Fred's side is if you don't find something here, do you go finish pod in Eastern, or do you go kind of look at somewhere else that you might have left or orphaned earlier? Only time will tell.
I think in the interest of amusement for the spectators, I'm kind of hoping we find a Bombos Medallion in Ice.
Or what if we have a Bombos Medallion here on Helmasaur King with the Samaria inside of Meyer? Oof.
Now that, I mean, I'm just hoping for Samaria and Pendant Meyer at this point, because that would just be awfully quaint.
That it would. Blink and you miss it though. Kyong with 17 quick hits to the face with the hammer on Helmasaur King. A couple quick slashes, and unfortunately, only getting a piece of heart for his troubles.
So much for the back of pod. I wonder if he goes to Armos Knights, because there's an item there too.
There's your answer, I believe.
He's going full cleanup. No, he's floating. Never mind.
Nope. Not going for it.
All right, fine, Kyong. Have it your way, then. This is reasonable, though. He's got the fire rod. He's got a couple dungeons he can do. That's fine.
Yeah, in all honesty, I mean, you can go ahead and clear yourself out 2 crystal dungeons going this way. You know you have 1 item left in Skull Woods. You know you have 3 over there in Ice. You almost hate not doing them at this point, if nothing else, just to clear them off and then potentially leave Eastern until you're done there.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got... there's Samaria Ice Palace.
And there it is, 1 hour, 16 minutes, 26 seconds on in. Fred Coughlin picking up Cane of Samaria inside of Ice Palace and hitting go mode.
It's a pretty nice go mode, too. You've got silver arrows, you've got butter sword, blue mail, 12 hearts, like 2 or 3 bottles. You got 2. You shouldn't need to even look for any additional safeties. Like, you can just jam through the rest of the seed, no problem.
Yep, I can't imagine we'll be seeing any wasted checks here now on Fred's side. We'll probably just skip and pie most chests that we can. You know, Turtle Rock notwithstanding. Of course, since we do need to open some up there for some keys. And then we're hopping into GT. We have synchronized boss fights here on the right side. Kyong right against Mothula on the left side. Fred against Cold Stare, and you blink and they're both gone. Both at 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 35 seconds. Kyong and Fred Coughlin defeating their respective boss fights, picking up another crystal each. However, we're keeping the advantage 6-5 for Fred.
Always nice to see simultaneous crystal grabs. To answer chat a little bit, yeah, so Kyong is behind on time here. He made some skips. Like one of the big ones was skipping the front of Thieves Town, which had both boots and the hammer in it. He put that off and came back for it later, whereas Fred went straight for it. So Fred Coughlin has basically just had the progression lead pretty much for this whole scene. I wouldn't say Kyong has certainly made any like sort of execution errors, but it's more just been that he's not made as many correct decisions in routing as Fred has.
Yeah, I believe Kyong has made a few more overworld checks as well, if I'm not mistaken. The seed kind of just seems to have played itself right into Fred's kind of, I guess you could see, kind of loose play style here, just kind of fast and heavy and skip this, skip that, and leave it behind and hope the item you're looking for isn't there. And just this seed, it hasn't been there.
Yeah, it's worked out for him, definitely. He's definitely treaded the line, I think, as far as skipping a fair amount of checks, but he's got everything he needs, didn't get burned for it. So there you go.
And to be fair, it's only wrong when it's actually wrong, right?
Exactly. And that's rando for you. Like, you can never be completely sure that you're making the right decisions when you go for any gambles. But when those gambles pay off, it feels great. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you leave your mirror in the basement of Hera and then you don't go back for an hour and it feels real bad, but that's rando.
Exactly, and that is why we play all the seeds, regardless. Fred making his way now on into Turtle Rock. Kyong inside of Ice Palace, where he definitely does need to be. We'll be grabbing that Cane of Samaria ever so soon. That seems to also be another one that I've seen a lot lately. It seems like Samaria likes to hide itself inside of Ice Palace. Like, you have this new tech, you want to try to do Icebreaker? Well, think again.
Yeah, it does like to hide in here sometimes. I think one of the worst ones, though, is one I experienced a fair while ago. Hammer being in really deep in Ice Palace. One of just the worst feelings you can ever have.
Hammer and Ice Tea or anywhere in Ice Palace never feels nice. You can almost probably assure yourself, though, if you left it there for the last check, so did your opponent more than likely.
That's one of those really uncommon places for it to be. So we've got a 2-key beginning of TR for Fred Coughlin here. TR is a nice, pretty linear dungeon. You're still going to see almost everything checked in it, just because you're still going to find at least 3 small keys out of chests and the big key to get through it.
Fred getting his sword beam off just before that Chain Chomp decided to take a bite out of him. The Chain Chomps, that's the only room outside of Randomizer, of course, that you'll find that enemy in the vanilla game. And for some reason, they like doing a lot of damage.
Those metal doggos bite pretty hard, yep.
I mean, I guess if they made their trip all the way over from the Mushroom Kingdom to Hyrule, I mean, they got to be pretty strong there, you'd imagine.
You gotta think they're pretty hungry at that point too. I don't know if they have. I mean, look at them. It's like a smooth metal ball. Like, where do you hide snacks on that?
That is a fair point. And moreover, where is their stomach?
I don't know if I'm worried about it that much. Kyong said his area. He knows where the ice rod is. I'm pretty sure. I think he's ready to go.
Yep, that is correct. Kyong does have knowledge of that ice rod. I believe we should just call that go mode for Kyong at 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 20 seconds on in. And at this point, it looks like Fred has a mountain climb and potentially will have a full TR clear lead on Kyong heading towards Ganon's Tower as well. And that's it's kind of a hilariously placed shovel, if I do say so.
It's a bit late in the logic. I don't think either of our runners are going to be too terribly tempted to go check that. No, we're going to be left with a mystery as far as what's buried today.
Oh, definitely. But personally, I always just kind of get a little bit of a chuckle out of that whenever I see it either there, and GT is just kind of like, really, game? Really?
When the Go mode dungeons are throwing fetch quest at you, fetch quest items at you, you just kind of have to laugh at it. Yep. All right, there's a key on first chest laser bridge, as efficient as possible.
And meanwhile, over on the right side, 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 20 seconds on in, Kyong taking down Cold Stare. That is crystal number 6, making his way on up mountain climb. Does have knowledge of where that ice rod is. Should be grabbing it off floating island very shortly, and making his way also into Turtle Rock. All right, and since this is going to be a quick Trinex fight, start think of numbers, everybody in chat. We have 22 different locations in Ganon's Tower where that big key could potentially be located. Once Fred does grab this crystal here off of Trinex, we will be starting the game, and it'll be very short as we just have a quick dash on over to Ganon's Tower. But just wait until we get the bot started.
Yep. Yeah, get those numbers ready to go, because it's going to be fast.
And there we go. 1 hour, 24 minutes, 30 seconds on in. Fred picking up crystal number 7. We got a quick dash right on over to the west to GT. Get those numbers in chat. Adalor, where are you thinking this big key is hiding for us today?
I'm going to go with my usual number 18. With usual routing, either ends up being the first chest in Compass Room or my personal favorite location, Bob's chest. How about you?
I'm going for the good old number 14. Never seems to fail me wherever I seem to go. That can be a number of different locations, of course, just depending on which way the runners want to go. A few short moments left here to get your last minute guesses into the chat.
If you can find a number that hasn't been picked already, grab it real fast, and we are closed. All right, here we go. Get into the GT basement for Fred Coughlin. First one in. Start your counts. Number 1 is a blue rupee on the torch.
And meanwhile, over on the right side, 1 hour, 25 minutes, 34 seconds in, Kyong grabs that ice rod officially now in go mode. Having today, is this going to be a dark magician, or are we going to go full left from Fred? 2 20 rupees, 3 the powder. That is well-timed things you will not say no to at this point. 4 we got ourselves a small key. 5 there's the big key right away, number 5.
It was setting up to looks like do a full left by killing the Stalfos, but not even necessary. Congratulations to Bad West, scoring a whopping 26 points on the SpeedGaming GTBK leaderboard. Congratulations.
And keep in mind that leaderboard will be running all throughout the season. If you're looking to get your name there on the leaderboard itself, be sure to watch as many of the league restreamed matches as possible as Fred's starting to make his way up the climb here. Kyong opening the first couple of doors here in Turtle Rock. That spike room never seems to be nice. You're either going to get hit 0 times once or like 5 times.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm still hoping for one day when I can figure out how exactly to execute like the perfect movement through it to make it consistent, but it seems tough to make consistent.
It's just one of those mean rooms that it just seems like it's going to just hate you regardless what you do.
It definitely does feel nice when you can just dash south and get past all the spikes and be like, all right, it worked out this time. Fred gets another nice clutch fairy drop. He was sitting at about 5 hearts now, or 4 actually. Now he has 11. Well, that is not the first time you get a nice lucky fairy drop. Yeah, you can see the red Garayas there are in the super value pack that has all the good items in it.
The items that are definitely going to be well timed. Fred making his way on into Landmo 2, pulling out the silvers. That's 1, misses the second shot, misses the third shot, unfortunately. Took a hit from that Medusa, more than likely put his timing a little off.
It will take a 2 cycle.
Yep. 2 cycle, no problem.
On the later side here, Kyong is working through TR. He has stolen the Poke Key, as you do in Go Mode TR, and we'll be getting down to the bottom of the dungeon shortly here.
Speaking of which, just how satisfying are those 2 Wizard rooms that Fred just made his way through there?
Just it's definitely one of those rooms that's like, once you have a good feeling for exactly where to put the block and exactly when to pop it, and especially in the case of Wizard too, like how to move to get up to the last one to hit it all feels really good to execute.
Not gonna lie, it's one of those things that I found out, when I kind of jumped up on here in the community. I was like, wow, where was that when I was a kid struggling through these rooms?
Right? Think about, like, no way I can remember. It's been so long since I first played this game so many years ago, but if only we knew about all these crazy good speed strats back then.
Right. Regardless, I can guarantee you I did not do that kind of a strat in those Wizard rooms.
Fred Coughlin getting a very, very quick Moldworm kill. No shenanigans at all. He is across the gap. 2 bombs on the Moldworm chest. As you do, he is part of the bomb squad after all. He's going to get into the final mini Helmasaur room on his way up to Aga 2.
Meanwhile, on the right side of your screen, Kyong, just a quick little trip with some torches lighting your way away from meeting Trinex. Got a single there on the first phase there for Fred. There's 1, there's 2, double on the second one. Kyong already into phase 2 of Trinex. Another double for Fred should be 1 hit away here from taking down Aga 2. And there it is, 1, 2, 2, 1.
Kyong gets the really nice second phase Trinex. Nice way to time that is to, while the shell is exploding, you hold your sword charge out. As soon as that shell disappears, let go of the charge. You get that double hit every time as long as you're close enough. And on Gold Sword, 1 more slash to the head will do it.
1 hour, 30 minutes, 31 seconds on in. That is crystal number 7 for Kyong. We'll be heading right on to the left for their GT dip. Meanwhile, Fred dropping on into what promises to be pretty much at this point a free Ganon fight. Gold sword, silvers, blue mail, 12 hearts. I mean, all you're literally missing is the cave, but with that kind of loadout, why would you even need it?
Not even worried about it. We are ready to butter some bacon.
Quickly on into phase 2. That is another quick 6 slashes, a few more for good measure, just because, you don't want to be stuck in this phase longer than you'd really need to be. And we're on to phase 3.
And let's give us a few extra teleports here. He's going to drag it out just a little bit longer.
Yeah, may as well at this side. Kyong, meanwhile, going over to the Hope Room, opens the first 2 chests, get Mirror Shield out of the first one, gets a small key, and looks like we'll be going full right.
Yep, Kyong's going to give us a little bit extra time here. We know the key is on the left side, so he's going to be a little bit behind in getting to that. But we'll see what he finds in the compass room. Maybe he comes up with like a red mail or a Bombus medallion.
A full right compass room at least. However, over on the left side, Fred taking down Ganon there with 2 quick doubles. All that's left is a 1x3 bridge separating Fred from taking first position in this match. Get your GGs in chat. There it is, crossing the bridge in first place. Official race time at GG time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 14 seconds.
Very well played seed to Fred Coughlin, who will be our winner of this race here on Speed Gaming in Week 2, our ALTTPR League Season 3, with the Bomb Squad versus Komodo Hypers.
And
Scoring
with that,
3 points for the team. 3 big points. You want as many as you can get.
that is true. The first one's always the hardest. Fred Coughlin getting the Bomb Squad on the board.
Thankfully, Kyong decided not to go full right. No crazy plays here in GT. He's got his big key just a little bit behind and be up the climb as fast as he can go.
Yeah, the big story of this seed was early on, heading on over after the Egg 1 play, grabbing their gloves out of pod. Both runners deciding to leave. But when they made their way over to Village of Outcasts, Kyong actually ended up skipping Thieves Town. Fred did not pull both the boots and the hammer. They're out of Thieves Town, unfortunately giving him what proved to be for this seed a little bit of an insurmountable lead. Young making his way through Ganon Ball Z room on up into the Gauntlet. Whole bunch of rooms with some treadmills, some spikes, some ice. Definitely not as easy as runners make it look. Meanwhile, we are joined here in the chat by the Victor F. Coughlin himself, GG's.
Oh, thank you very much. Whew. That was the seed.
Say it seemed like everything just kind of played right into your hands there, from the Thieves Town giving you both the boots and the hammer to following that, just everything seemed to just lay out right in your path, I believe.
Yeah, I got lucky on that side. I was definitely a bit scared about pod there because I didn't potion glitch with the glove, and then discovering the lovely goodness there of the fire rod. Wasn't sure what was going to happen with that. Thought I might be quite behind there.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering how behind you would feel, if at all, when you found that there. Because of course, when we got back there, the seed kind of took you around the whole Dark World area, looped you back towards pod, and like, nope, go back. You want to go back?
Well, I was briefly wondering myself, especially once I first found the bow in Swamp, I was like, oh gosh, what if? And then I found the fire rod. I don't remember what. Because I found the fire rod and the silvers there on the back half of pod. I was like, oh gosh, what if Kyong? I know Kyong's really good. What if Kyong did that? Got the fire rod, got the bow, out of there, and then just didn't even have to check left side swamp. Or I was even briefly wondering, well, could Kyong actually, do the mimic glitch to go up against Tower and not even need the bow? But, whew. As I said, Kyong's play is phenomenal, so it's definitely very afraid.
That definitely does go without saying there. We were actually kind of talking about it earlier there in the seed when we were still bowless at that point, just kind of wondering, well, are either of our runners going to be looking for it? We know Kyong can do Mimic Clip. We didn't know how comfortable you were yourself with it or not, but
I still need to, that's one of the ones on my queue to learn. Maybe on there for a long time.
Fortunately, though, that bow just kind of, I guess I'd say, fell into your hands there when you went left side swamp, and it's like, oh, first chest. Oh, well, that answers that question, I guess.
And then I was like, okay, I got into the backup pod. As I said, it was like, I got that bow. I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I know this is definitely the guaranteed required silvers, but it was meant to be the silvers, but dang, if someone had done the mimic clip there, not the mimic clip, but the potion glitch there, got into the backup pod and got both of those, then it's okay. I can actually just, finish the game super fast, especially with that fire rod. So
definitely, and that actually kind of ended up being, what happened here in this seed. Both of you jumped into pod there, grabbed that glove, decided to leave right away. You, however, went into Thieves Town and got those boots and hammer the first time you visited over there. Kyong, meanwhile, decided to forego Thieves Town for the rest of the Southern Dark World.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a tough call there. You know, if you get the hammer, if you don't get the hammer, then you have to, you know, possibly orphan the chest. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people go through, do that second run, especially if you get the mitts, do that second run through. But I was like, okay, Kyong's really good. I've got to try to make a couple of gambles here, and that one paid off.
Definitely, like I said, it just kind of seemed like everything just laid itself out just in the right spot for you, the way you were playing the seed. And it's always kind of like saying that's just going to be the nature of Rando. One person's going to sometimes hit the jackpot, the other one, you know, while not making the wrong decisions, just unfortunately for that seed, it just didn't pan out hopefully how they'd wanted it to.
But if it had been in Cave 45, which I ended up orphaning, I believe, if any of those required items had been Cave 45, ball game's completely different there. Because, I mean, I still haven't checked Cave 45, technically.
Just one thing could swing it either way.
Yeah, between the both of you both had a bunch of locations that weren't checked. Like, it's, for like, this was honestly kind of a fairly streamlined seed. I mean, all things considered. Like, it's, the progression was more or less just kind of like, just go to natural places, do your crystal dungeons, and you get most everything just kind of given to you. Kyong with a nice double is going to take down his Ganon fight. GG to him. As soon as he can cross the Bridge of Perils, we will get you an official time in just a moment here. And that is Kyong finishing this race with an official race time.gg time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 53 seconds.
So with that win there, Fred, you put your team, the Bomb Squad, on the board. How does that one feel, taking the first W for your team of this league season?
Oh, it's definitely a good win to get on the board there. It was good to get some points. We've had, I mean, well, I don't think there's any easy matchups at all in this portion of the league here, but you know, last week having you know, the pug team there coming along, and you know, we fought our best, but you know, they are a really good team. You know, the team this week's really good. I mean, I can't say that about anything else. So pretty much everything out there is good. Everyone out there is good teams, but it's definitely good to get some points on the board and hopefully start rolling, you know, over the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, this Invitational League is definitely stacked with talent, to say the least. So absolutely take any points you can get.
Just look up and down the rankings sheet and everything, and you know, going into this week, there were definitely a number of, you know, good teams sitting at 0-2, and it's just like that just goes to show the strength of all the competitors, all the teams here in the Invitational League this year. All right, so looking forward, next week is standard casual boots. Do you care to divulge any information as far as how your team is looking for that, as far as runners or strategy or anything there, Fred?
Hopefully it'll be a dashing good week, I guess. I think that's the best hope we have.
Well said.
Go too fast getting ahead of yourself there. The seed hasn't been rolled yet. A quick look here and see if we're going to be getting Kyong in for an interview. And while that's going on, and while we are checking out and looking at that here, we'll look forward onto the schedule. You want to keep getting your fix of a randomizer.
Suffice to say, we have a ton of races coming up. League is we got a lot of teams to get through. Even in just the Invitational, there's at least a couple matches every single day.
That is true. Tomorrow it looks like we have 5. Not sure where they'll be yet, but starting at 6:10 Eastern, we have a Shack Tools digging game that'll be represented by In the Name of DT. Shack Tools will be represented by Aussie 101 against WJPDTB, represented by In the Name of DT. As well at 6:10 that'll be the next match of Team Jaime represented by Ravis against I Like Big Boots, represented by Zero Rush. We have Team Kappa on the list against Wu-Tang Clan, Sphere Affinity against Tile Roomies, then at 11:10 p.m., also at 11:10 p.m., Shack Tools Dinging Game with the double header there against WJPDTB. That is what is on your plate for the Invitational League tomorrow.
We are joined here in the interview room with our other racer, Kyong. GG to you, sir.
Hey, thank you.
All right, how'd you feel about this seed in particular?
Honestly, can't say I'm really happy. There were a few decisions that backfired a lot on me. I didn't feel like I played super well, and it does look like Fred played pretty well, so that didn't leave me much room for error either. So I can't really.
Yeah, Fred definitely zeroed in on pretty much all the correct checks. Like you guys had early game, it was kind of back and forth thinking, all right, who's gonna pull ahead and find the right progression to take a good solid lead here. But yeah, once you guys were in Dark World, I mean, you both went to pod and bailed out after the glove, which turned out to be a great idea. Neither of you decided to potion unlock, even though potion unlock would have made this a really spicy race, knowing what was in the back of pod. Yeah, he went straight for Skullwoods and Thieves Town, and then of course you diverged and put off Thieves Town for a while, and that's when we started to see the lead develop, and because of Boots and Hammer being in Thieves Town.
Having getting meats there, I was like, I can come back for this town a bit later. Maybe I could grab the hammer in Hype Cave or something on the way.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It's a sensible call. You'd rather go back to Thieves Town when you can full clear it, especially with the Crystal Dungeon. You want to do one-shot dungeon. Yeah, unfortunately, just well, sometimes the hammer's in Thieves Town. What can you do?
Unfortunately, that just happened to be the name of this seed. I mean, going into Thieves Town, getting those boots and hammer early was just kind of the big divergence there, and everything just kind of laid its way forward. I've also posed this one then to you as well, Kyong. Next week, looking to be a standard casual boots start. Care to divulge anything that your team is looking forward to as far as strategy, who's going to be running, etc., or any sort of witty quip for us coming up for the next week?
Well, our team is definitely not the most organized one. I have no idea who's going to be running next week. To be honest, it's very on the moment. Like, oh, I guess it's the weekend. We should start talking about next week, kind of deal, you know. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely nothing wrong with that. As long as we're all sitting here playing rando and having fun, that's definitely what matters. And any final thoughts here about the seed, the league, what you got looking forward, how things have been going for you guys so far, Kyong?
Not much. Thank you guys for the commentary and restream tracking and stuff. League is pretty fun. Being able to play with friends, win with friends, lose with friends, as happens sometimes. But it's all for good fun.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of great races so far. Some of them extremely close. Yeah, it seems like everyone's having a lot of fun so far. We're only 2 weeks in. We got many more matches to go, and we're just fun's going to continue. We got a lot more coming.
Yep, we are scratching the tip of the iceberg, folks. While we're at it too, as you can see there in your chat, be sure to follow both of these runners, Fred Coughlin and Kyong. Both of them put on a wonderful match here for us today at Clinic of Execution. Today, all the choices, all the routing decisions just fell in Fred's favor. As well, huge shout out to our tracker of the evening, Lumaga83, keeping us on task, making sure we know what the runners have, where's what, and everything. Doing the hard work behind the scenes. The trackers don't nearly get enough love for all the hard work they put in.
Yeah, thank you indeed to our crew. Also, make sure you are following all the channels so you do not miss any of our races. We've got so many different races going on. We're going on multiple channels. Don't forget about the Open League. Besides the Invitational, we've got 83 teams, I think it is, in the Open League. They've got a ton of races going on over there too. So make sure you're following all the channels here on SpeedGaming Main, SpeedGaming 2 through 6, and ALTTPR League 1 through 4, I believe it is.
Yep, looks like we have 8 scheduled matches on the schedule for tomorrow for the Open League. We're starting at 3:10 Eastern, Boomer Friendly against Will Pull Ped for Food, 4:10 Eastern, then No Lamp, No Go Mode versus Hovering Sick Kids, 6:10 p.m. Eastern, Spoiled Leftovers versus High Roll Track and Field, also at 6:10, Stoop Stroop versus Zelda's Chocobo Squad, 7:40 p.m. Fromps Time versus River City Random, 8:10 p.m. It's Mitts versus All I Want for Christmas is My Two Good Bees. Then 10:10 p.m. we got 2 matchups for you: the Meyer Straits against Ambiguously Canon Content and Highly and Rhapsody against Please Clap.
Yeah, open races are often not guaranteed to get restreams, but when they are restreamed, you'll often see them on the ALTTPR League channels. And if you've got 2 people, you know that you really want to see them race in particular, to like a couple of favorite runners or players or teams, I'm sorry to say, pull them up a multi-stream. You can watch them side by side and just have your own little race.
That is true. As you mentioned earlier, this is only week 2. The regular season goes on for 7 weeks. Each week is a different game mode featuring different runners. And then after that, we have the playoffs. Plenty more rando to come your way. Just scratching the tip of the iceberg here. That being said, Adalor, do you have any final thoughts, comments, etc. for us, whether it be today's seed, going forward, so on and so forth?
I think I've said about all there is to say. Thanks again to the runners and crew. All these races have been great so far, and I'm just looking forward to more great rando action.
Sounds good. And once again, can't go understated enough. Huge shout out to the SpeedGaming family channel as well as the ALTTPR League family channels for hosting us, for giving us the opportunity to bring to you some really good ALTTPR action. Thanks for joining us. That over there beside me in the comm booth here is Adalor. I'm Spy Weaver. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone. Have a good night.